The world won't hand you transformation. It will hand you tests. It will hand you silence. It will hand you rejection, betrayal, and failure dressed in 1,000 disguises. But transformation? That's your responsibility, your choice, your inner war. And here's the final brutal truth. Success doesn't care how much potential you have. It only cares how much pain you're willing to endure without giving up your purpose. You either find a way or you find an excuse. But both paths end with a legacy, one you're proud of or one you regret. Strategy number 1, take radical ownership. Not partial, not polite. Radical. Own every loss. Own every choice. Own every delay, every detour, every crack in your foundation. You cannot fix what you refuse to claim. You cannot rise above what you still blame. And when you stop saying this happened to me and start saying this happened for me, now the game changes. Because now you've taken the power back. You're no longer a victim. You're a builder, a refiner, a sculptor of your own story. And your hands bruised, bloodied, blistered, they are the hands that will craft your legacy brick by brick. Strategy 2, reframe the narrative. What if your greatest failure wasn't the curse, but the catalyst? What if the divorce, the debt, the breakdown, what if that was the exact pressure you needed to become the person you pretended to be before life made you earn it? Pain doesn't lie. It tells you exactly where your foundations are weak, where your beliefs are broken, where your character needs fire. So stop resisting it. Start reading it. Every failure is a script, a blueprint. But most people are too busy complaining to study it. You want to turn failure into success? Start by reading the very story it's trying to teach you. Strategy 3. Focus on internal alignment, not external approval. Most people don't fail because they lack talent. They fail because they live divided. One part wants purpose, another wants comfort. One part wants to build, the other wants to be liked. One part wants truth, the other wants applause. But you cannot serve two masters. The man who is fully aligned, whose thoughts, actions, values, and vision all walk the same path, is unstoppable. He may move slowly, but every step compounds. He may go unseen, but every step is sacred. You must stop editing yourself to fit environments that were never designed for your growth. Be aligned, not liked. Strategy 4. Make peace with failure as your teacher, not your judge. You are not here to be perfect. You are here to evolve. You are here to sharpen, to refine, to be humbled and hardened and shaped by the storms life sends you. But that requires humility, not shame humility. Shame says, I am broken. Humility says, I have work to do. Shame keeps you in hiding. Humility keeps you in motion. One chains your potential, the other releases it. Strategy 5. Raise your standards before you raise your results. Most people think they need motivation to succeed. No, they need higher standards. They need to look at their current habits, associations, and daily choices and declare, this is no longer acceptable. Because the gap between failure and success is often not intelligence or luck, it's standards. What you tolerate becomes your template. What you accept in silence becomes the blueprint of your identity. You don't get what you want. You get what you demand from yourself first. Strategy 6. Audit your environment with ruthless honesty. You can't grow in soil that chokes your roots. You can't evolve surrounded by people who fear your expansion. The people who laugh at your failures are not the people who will cheer your victories. And some of them are in your circle not because they love you, but because they're comfortable with your limits. Clean house. Upgrade your influences. Follow energy, not history. You are not obligated to shrink for people who chose the path of least resistance. Strategy 7. Develop emotional mastery. You will never rise above the level of your emotional discipline. Failure is an emotional earthquake. If you are not grounded, it will consume you. But if you are trained, if you have built the muscle to feel deeply and still move forward, to face rejection and still act in alignment, you become unstoppable. Don't suppress your emotions. Master them. Let them pass through you, not control you. Feel them, learn from them, but never let them hijack your vision. Strategy 8. Invest more in wisdom than in validation. The world is drowning in opinions and starving for wisdom. Success leaves clues, but most people are too busy chasing trends to notice. Seek depth. Study the greats. Read the words of those who fell and rose again. Don't just seek mentors, seek mentorship. Don't just chase new, pursue true. The wisdom that will transform your life is often hidden in the discipline you've been avoiding. Strategy 9. Make process your obsession. Results are fleeting. Identity is forever. Most people chase the finish line, but those who win long-term, they fall in love with the training. They become addicted to refinement. They don't just work hard, they work wholly. Every rep, every repetition, every failure in the gym of life becomes sacred. If you're not falling in love with the process, you'll never survive the pain required to earn the prize. Strategy 10. Be consistent when it's boring. Success is not sexy. It's not viral. It's not entertaining. It's consistency in the shadows, repetition in silence, progress when no one claps. Anyone can show up when they're inspired. The greats show up when they're exhausted, overlooked, and under fire because greatness is built in the monotony. Boredom is not the enemy, distraction is. Strategy 11. Stop negotiating with doubt. Doubt is not your advisor, it's your assassin. The moment you start reasoning with it, you've already lost ground. You don't have to silence doubt. You have to starve it. Starve it of time, starve it of energy, starve it of attention. Feed your faith, feed your focus, feed your future. Starve everything else. Strategy 12. Turn your pain into purpose. Don't just move on, move through. Don't just get over it. Grow from it. The heartbreak, the betrayal, the loss, it wasn't just pain. It was preparation. It was revelation. It was assignment. And once you learn to turn that pain into power, no storm will ever be wasted again. You become the kind of person who walks through fire, not to survive it, but to redeem it. Strategy 13. Build discipline like a sacred ritual, not just for work, for life. Discipline is the evidence that you love your future self. It's the language of self-respect. It's the secret handshake between your present and your potential. And every time you choose discipline over distraction, you cast a vote that says, I am worthy of the future I desire. Strategy 14. Fail forward faster. Don't delay the lesson. Don't fear the fall. Make the move. Take the shot. Launch before it's perfect. Say yes before you're ready. Life rewards velocity, backed by intention. While others wait for clarity, you create it. Because clarity doesn't precede movement. It follows it. Strategy 15. Anchor it all in identity. Who are you becoming? That is the real scoreboard. Not what you've built, but who you've become. Success is not something you pursue. It's something you align with. And when you build an identity that is congruent with greatness, success doesn't become the exception. It becomes the inevitable. Because at the end of the day, all strategy, all action, all progress flows from the same source, who you believe you are. So believe differently, act accordingly, rise relentlessly. You are not your failure. You are not your delay. You are not your doubt. You are becoming. And the world, whether it knows it or not, is waiting for you to rise. Then listen with your whole being. Because what comes next is not just instruction, it's activation. You've walked through the storm. You've tasted the ashes of your own collapse. You've watched doors close, people walk, and dreams shatter in slow motion. And yet you're still breathing. Do you understand what that means? It means your story is still being written. It means the ink of your becoming hasn't dried. It means what you've survived is not a signal to shrink, it's a command to rise with fury, with fire, with resolve so deep it shakes the ground beneath your feet. Because here's the truth most never grasp. Turning failure into success is not about avoiding the pit. It's about becoming the kind of person who can build a ladder out of rubble, who can climb with cut hands and weary bones and say, I may bleed, but I never break. So if you're still breathing, build again. Build with what you've got. Build with the tools life gave you: pain, patience, silence, scars, instinct, wisdom. Build even if the world isn't watching. Build even if no one claps. Build until the bricks you laid in darkness become the foundation others stand on in the light. You've got to stop waiting for certainty, waiting for permission, waiting for the pain to stop. It doesn't stop, but you get stronger. You stop needing it to end, and you start using it. Because power comes from progress, and progress comes from persistence. Not the loud kind, not the glamorous kind, but the kind that keeps showing up after failure, after heartbreak, after rejection. The kind that walks into the fire again and again and again, saying, I will either come out forged or I will not come out at all. You've come too far to stop now. And yes, there are still more battles to fight, more wounds to take, more nights of silence, more days where the progress feels microscopic. But if you keep going, if you refuse to fold something, divine happens. You wake up one day, and the pain you thought would break you became the pressure that built you. You look in the mirror, and the failure you thought would define you became the furnace that refined you. You see your reflection, not as the person who lost, but as the warrior who refused to die in the valley. That's what this is about. Not just turning failure into success, but turning it into strength, into standard, into spiritual currency that can never be taken from you. This is not about chasing what the world calls success. This is about building the kind of soul the world can't ignore. Because when that soul speaks, even your silence shakes rooms. And when that soul moves, even your failures make way for victory. So keep building, keep rising, keep walking like you were chosen for more, because you were. Then let's keep going deeper, harder, sharper. Because now we're beyond motivation, beyond feel-good words. Now we're into the marrow of what separates the rare from the average, the legendary from the forgotten. Those who fold in failure from those who forge kingdoms out of it. Listen, failure was never meant to stop you. It was meant to strip you. Strip away the comfort. Strip away the lies. Strip away the illusion that the path would be easy. It was meant to burn away the ego, the laziness, the fantasies, so what's left is pure, authentic, battle-tested, bulletproof. And now you are here, standing in that purifying fire. But this next part, it's critical. Because many rise for a season only to fall again. Not because they weren't worthy, not because they weren't gifted, but because they forgot what forged them. So strategy 16, never forget the cost. Never forget the nights you cried in silence. Never forget the jobs you worked that stole your energy, but paid for your dream. Never forget the betrayal that forced you to believe in yourself when no one else would. Never forget the hunger, the isolation, the rejection. Because when success begins to whisper, take it easy, you've made it. You better remember exactly what you walked through to get here. Gratitude is not just about being thankful, it's about being rooted, grounded, connected to the source of your rise. And that source, it wasn't applause. It wasn't luck. It was your decision to not die in defeat. You rose, and that rise must be protected. Strategy 17, protect the standard at all costs. The most dangerous lie is not that you'll fail. The most dangerous lie is that you can start to relax before the mission is complete. And make no mistake, you are on a mission to become everything you were designed to be, to leave nothing buried inside you, to live in such a way that death finds you empty, not full of untapped greatness. So when you reach a new level, raise the standard again. When success begins to flow, raise the intensity, raise the focus, raise the discipline. Because success is rented, and the rent is due every day. Most people downgrade their dreams to fit their discipline, but the rare ones, they upgrade their discipline to match their vision. Be rare. Strategy 18, teach from your scars, not your wounds. Everyone's loud when they're angry. Everyone wants to post when they're hurt. But wisdom waits. Wisdom doesn't bleed on others, it builds from the bleeding. If failure taught you something real, teach it, but teach it after you've healed, after you've processed, after you've turned the pain into perspective. Don't infect others with your bitterness. Inspire them with your breakthrough. Your scars are sacred, and the world is starving for voices that have walked through fire and lived to speak life. Strategy 19. Plant seeds in your winter. Most people wait for the perfect season to begin. They wait for motivation, for support, for clarity. But winners, builders, they plant when it's dark, when it's cold, when there's no guarantee. They sow in silence. They plant in faith. And while the world sleeps, they're preparing for a harvest no one sees coming. Don't wait for spring. Create it. Strategy 20. Move with urgency, not anxiety. There's a difference. Anxiety says, I'm behind, I'm not enough, I'm out of time. But urgency says, I'm here for a reason and I refuse to waste another second. Your clock is ticking, not in fear, in fire, in purpose, in destiny. Every delay is disrespect to the calling that was placed on your life. So move like your future depends on it, because it does. And if no one understands your urgency, that's okay. They didn't survive your storm. They didn't wrestle with your regret. They don't know what it cost you to believe again. But you do, and that's enough. Because in the end, it's not about proving anyone wrong. It's not about being liked, praised, or admired. It's about becoming undeniable. Undeniable in your effort. Undeniable in your growth. Undeniable in your character, your mindset, your execution. So that when the next failure comes, and it will, you don't question yourself. You don't shrink. You smile, because you know exactly what to do. Then brace yourself, because what comes now is not just the conclusion, it is the crowning. This is the moment where every setback is given a name, where every loss is seen for what it was, not a punishment but a prophecy. The moment where every scar you carry begins to glow with purpose, and you realize it was all building you. The silence taught you how to listen to yourself. The rejection taught you how to stand alone. The bankruptcy taught you how to rebuild from nothing. The heartbreak taught you how to protect your soul. The failure taught you how to rise without applause. And now you are here, forged, focused, and free. Not because you had it easy, but because you chose not to die in the difficulty. You chose to rise. And that rise is not just for you anymore. Because now, you're carrying more than your own dream. You're carrying the blueprint for those still stuck in their pain. You're carrying the map for the ones who haven't seen the light yet. You're carrying legacy. Legacy isn't built in wins. Legacy is built in the weight you carry when no one else sees, and you carry it anyway. Because you knew the climb wasn't just about reaching the top. It was about becoming the kind of person who could lift others from the bottom. So don't ever think for 1 second that your pain was wasted. Don't ever let anyone convince you that your failure disqualifies you. Your failure qualified you. It qualified you for wisdom. It qualified you for depth. It qualified you to speak with authority, not because you studied success, but because you survived the war to earn it. So now, walk. Walk like someone who has nothing to prove, but everything to give. Walk like someone who's been refined by fire and now carries light. Walk like someone who's been through hell and came back holding the keys. Let the world watch. Let them wonder how you did it. Let them whisper, that's the one who turned failure into fire. Because that's who you are now. You are not broken. You are built. You are not ruined. You are reborn. And your future? Your future is not a maybe. It's a must. So go. Not timidly, not cautiously, but boldly, unapologetically, unshakably. Go create. Go build. Go lead. Go become everything that failure tried to keep buried. And when you reach the mountaintop, don't just plant your flag. Plant your roots. Because you didn't come this far to visit greatness. You came to live there. Now go take your place. This is just the beginning. Value does not chase you. It does not knock politely. It does not beg for your attention. Value is built quietly, consistently, deeply. And wealth, true wealth, is not the result of chasing money. It's the consequence of becoming valuable in a world addicted to shortcuts. You don't become rich by wanting more. You become rich by becoming more. More skilled, more disciplined, more aligned, more irreplaceable. And the path to that level of value is not easy. But it is simple. It begins with the decision to stop blaming the economy, your boss, your background, and start building yourself. The first step, raise your standards. Your life is a reflection of what you tolerate. Your income, your fitness, your mindset, they are all a mirror of your personal standards. Not your goals, not your wishes, your standards. If you want to be more valuable, stop asking for better outcomes and start demanding more from yourself. Stop negotiating with laziness. Stop compromising with weakness. Stop flirting with average. Standards are the soil from which all value grows. Raise them or stay the same. The second step, master your time. Time is not money. Time is more valuable than money because you can earn money back. But when time is gone, it's gone. Forever. You want to be rich? Then stop acting like you have forever. Audit your hours. Are they buying your future or paying for your distractions? Are you building something or binging your potential away? The wealthy don't spend time, they invest it. And the way you spend your next 24 hours will tell me everything about how serious you are about wealth. The third step, sharpen your thinking. A dull mind cannot create a sharp life. You cannot out-earn your thought patterns. Most people think on autopilot, lazy, reactive, outdated loops of fear and limitation. You must think like an architect, precise, intentional, bold. Read every day, reflect, journal, break your old beliefs with better ones. Because if your mind doesn't upgrade, neither will your bank account. The fourth step, solve bigger problems. Money flows to value, and value flows to solutions. If you want more wealth, solve more meaningful problems. The world pays those who take the weight off its shoulders. So stop avoiding hard problems. Run toward them. Learn skills that solve them. Build tools that fix them. Become a weapon against complexity. If your goal is wealth, your obsession must be usefulness. The fifth step, learn relentlessly. You cannot be valuable in a fast-moving world with a slow-growing mind. You must read more than you relax. You must learn faster than you lounge. You must out-educate the competition. And not just with books, with mentors, with experience, with feedback, with failure. Wealth belongs to the obsessed learner, the one who sees every moment as a classroom, every loss as a lesson, every day as a seminar. You can outlearn your past. You can outlearn your limitations, but only if you decide to make learning a way of life. The sixth step, build rare skills. Not common ones, not replaceable ones. Rare ones. The kind of skills that make people say, "We need you." Sales, strategy, leadership, coding, copywriting, communication, persuasion, systems, thinking. Pick one, master it, then stack another. The wealthiest people don't have the most degrees, they have the rarest combinations of ability. And when you become rare, you become indispensable. The seventh step, deliver results, not promises. The marketplace doesn't pay you for effort. It pays you for outcomes. Don't talk about what you're going to do. Do it. Prove it. Repeat it. Become someone whose name means certainty, who says, "I'll handle it," and does. Your brand is not your logo. Your brand is the trail of results you leave behind. Be the one who gets it done. Every time. No noise, no drama, just impact. And your value will multiply in every room you walk into. The eighth step, control your emotions. No one follows chaos. No one pays for drama. If your emotions control your decisions, your reactions, your reputation, you are not yet ready for wealth. The wealthy have mastered the art of emotional neutrality, not because they don't feel, but because they don't let feelings drive the car. Train yourself to be calm under pressure, focused under chaos, kind under fire. Because if you can stay steady, you can lead. And leaders attract wealth. The 9th step, discipline your habits. Your habits are the architecture of your value. What you do when no one's watching will determine what people see when everyone is. Discipline is not a punishment. It is the purest form of self-respect. Early mornings, clean eating, focused work, clear intentions. That's the rhythm of the rare. And if your days are built on discipline, your future will be built on dominance. The 10th step, play long-term games. Short-term thinking is poverty thinking. Get rich quick is the path to stay broke forever. The wealthy play long games. They build reputations, not just revenue. They plant trees they won't sit under. They invest in relationships, in brand, in compound interest. If you want to be valuable, think in decades. Build something that outlives your impulses, and your wealth will outlive you. The 11th step, surround yourself with builders. Your environment will either accelerate your value or extinguish it. Look around. Who are you spending time with? Complainers, critics, consumers, or creators, builders, doers? You don't need cheerleaders. You need challenge. People who call you up, who raise your standards, who live what they preach. Because the people around you will either stretch your vision or shrink it. Choose wisely. Because your net worth will always rise or fall with your network. The 12th step, own something. You cannot become truly wealthy renting your life away. Own equity, own skills, own your schedule, own your name. You don't get rich by just working hard. You get rich by building something that works while you sleep. Start now, start small, but start owning. Because ownership is the foundation of leverage. And leverage is the engine of wealth. The 13th step, multiply your energy. You are not your bank account. You are your battery. If your energy is low, your thinking is weak, your leadership is dull, your creativity is gone, protect your energy like it's oxygen. Train, sleep, fuel, recover. Energy is not a luxury. It's currency. And if you want to be valuable in the marketplace, show up like someone who runs on fire. The 14th step, speak with precision. Words move the world. They inspire, they sell, they lead, they shape. If your communication is sloppy, your influence will be too. Speak less, say more, make every word land. The wealthy are not the loudest, they are the clearest. Train your speech until it cuts like a sword and heals like a balm. And people will pay to be around your clarity. The 15th step, operate from identity. Stop trying to act like a millionaire. Start being one. Not in lifestyle, in character. Decide who you are, then live like it's true before the money shows up. The world doesn't give you what you want, it gives you who you've become. Become the kind of person who creates wealth as a byproduct of who they are. Not desperate, not needy, not fake. Solid, grounded, proven. And then, when the money comes, it won't change you. It will amplify you. Because by then, the wealth won't be the prize. You will be. And when you become the prize, truly, deeply, unshakably, the world begins to rearrange itself around you. Opportunities find you. People seek your voice, your presence, your leadership. Not because of flash, but because of foundation. Because you carry something most don't. Proof. Proof that you've done the work. Proof that you've walked through the fire and didn't just survive, you leveled up. Because real value doesn't need a pitch. It has presence. And real wealth doesn't need a spotlight. It shines on its own. This is the final layer most never reach when becoming valuable isn't a tactic, it's your identity. When your worth isn't tied to what you own, but to who you've become. This is when the game changes. Because now, everything you touch gets better. Everything you build carries your fingerprint, clear, focused, powerful. Every room you enter starts to shift, not from your noise, but from your calm. Every conversation deepens, not because you say more, but because you mean more. This is how the greats move. Not with hype, but with history. They have receipts not just of what they've earned, but what they've overcome. They have scars turned to strategies. They have discipline that feels like gravity. And they have one thing you can't fake: integrity. Because here's the final truth, the kind of truth that echoes through generations. Wealth built without character is poverty in disguise. But value built on principle, that's legacy. So if you truly want to be wealthy, not just in your account, but in your name, your time, your relationships, your life, then stop trying to get ahead and start digging deeper into your soul, into your habits, into your commitment, until every part of you aligns with the future you say you want, until the gap between who you are and who you're becoming closes. And when it does, that's when the real wealth begins. Not because you found a secret, but because you became the source. Because once you become the source of clarity, energy, excellence, and execution, everything changes. You stop chasing. You start attracting. You stop waiting. You start commanding. You stop surviving in someone else's story and begin authoring your own. That is the essence of value. It is earned, not given. It is built, not borrowed. It is lived, not faked. And the people who understand this don't just get ahead, they stay ahead. Not because of luck, but because they've built themselves to be indispensable. Their word is law. Their results are consistent. Their standards are permanent. And when the winds of change blow, because they always do, these people don't panic. They pivot. They adapt. They lead. Because value isn't rigid. It's dynamic. It evolves. It expands. It adjusts without losing its identity. And you, if you followed this path, are no longer just someone with potential. You're producing. You're not wondering when it will happen. You're building it day by day. You're not fantasizing about success. You're forging it in the small, in the silent, in the places no one claps. That's where real wealth is born, in the quiet discipline that doesn't beg for recognition. Because true builders don't just want to be seen. They want to last. And when you build for longevity, when you care more about impact than attention, something sacred happens. You stop measuring by dollars, and you start measuring by difference. What you leave behind, what you lift in others, what you've become in the process. And when that becomes your metric, wealth is inevitable. Because the universe always rewards those who operate from truth. So build with truth, lead with fire, deliver with honor, and rise every day with this question etched into your spirit. How can I become more valuable today than I was yesterday? Because if you ask it, live it, embody it, you'll never have to chase wealth again. It will chase you. And when it does, when wealth starts to knock on your door, not because you screamed for it, but because you prepared for it, don't be surprised. Receive it like a warrior greets the sunrise. Calm, ready, unmoved by the arrival, because the becoming already happened. By then, money is no longer your mission, it is your megaphone. It amplifies who you are. It fuels your vision. It strengthens your reach. But it no longer defines your worth, because you already did that. You defined it every time you chose discipline over distraction. Every time you said yes to the work and no to the noise. Every time you showed up early, stayed late, learned again, tried again, refined again. This rare, refined version of you is what the world pays for. Not the product, not the pitch, but the presence behind it. That presence is the final advantage. The one thing that can't be outsourced, replicated, or scaled. without you. And that's the ultimate value. Not what you sell, but who you are when you sell it. A person of depth in a world of decoration. A person of mastery in a world of mimicry. A person of substance in a world addicted to style. So don't you dare shrink now. Don't you dare dim down just because others aren't ready. Don't wait for applause. Don't beg for validation. Don't look around to see who's watching. Do the work. Become the value. And then walk through life as only you can, steady, focused, wealthy in every way. Because when you've built your life on value, you don't just change your bank account. You change your bloodline. And that's the real inheritance, not just money in the hands of your children, but fire in their spirit. Not just assets in their name, but excellence in their nature. Because they watched you. They watched how you moved when no one believed in you. They watched how you worked when you had nothing but a vision and a vow. They watched how you handled losses with poise, not panic. How you turned breakdowns into blueprints. How you kept your soul intact while building a fortune. And now, they know. They know what value looks like in human form. They know that wealth isn't something you find, it's something you become. And you became it. Not through shortcuts, not through show, but through sweat, sacrifice, and standards that never slipped. This is the moment most people miss. That the real reward is not the thing you get. It's the person you become to get it. And once you become that person, no one can take it from you. Not a downturn, not a divorce, not a disaster. Because your value is no longer situational. It's systemic. It's in your bones. It's in the way you breathe, speak, build, and believe. So build higher, speak clearer, give deeper, lead louder. Because now you understand, you were never chasing money. You were activating destiny. And wealth, true wealth, was simply the echo of who you dared to become. And when destiny echoes back, it doesn't whisper, it roars. Because by then, the world isn't just responding to your ambition, it's aligning with your authority. Not because you demanded it, but because you embodied it. And there's something unmistakable about a person who's done the inner work, not once, not twice, but daily, until it reshaped their entire world. You can see it in their eyes. You can feel it in their energy. You can hear it in the way they speak, not from theory, but from truth. That kind of person doesn't need to chase opportunity. They attract it. They don't scramble for attention, they command it. They don't fear competition, they invite it. Knowing that their value is not just in what they do, but in who they've become. And this is the final unlock. When you stop asking, how do I make more? And start asking, how do I become more? When you realize that the greatest investment you'll ever make is not in stocks, not in real estate, not in crypto, but in you, in your standards, in your skills, in your systems, in your soul. That's when everything shifts. That's when you stop playing the game and start rewriting it. So build every day, without excuse, without distraction, without apology. Build the mindset, build the value, build the wealth. And then when the world asks how you did it, you'll smile. Not with arrogance, but with authority. Because you'll know it was never luck. It was never magic. It was never a shortcut. It was simply this. You became someone the world could not ignore. With no applause, no performance, just power. Because you've walked the full path from intention to transformation, from noise to value, from chasing wealth to becoming the source of it. And now you know with absolute certainty, you don't need more chances. You are the chance. You don't need more time. You own your time. You don't need permission. You've already earned your place. So rise and move through this life like a builder, like a leader, like someone who understands that value isn't what you hold, it's what you are. And when you become that fully, boldly, permanently, wealth will never leave your side again.